So, I was recently testing out some legendary rocket launchers in order to clear some vault space. Yeah. When I noticed something strange was happening. The same rocket launcher was not always doing the same damage. For those who don't know, all legendary rocket launchers in Destiny do the exact same damage, doesn't matter what type of frame they have, unless there's a perk changing something. But in this situation, the same rockets were being fired at the same enemy with the same perks active, but the damage wasn't always the same. So what was going on here? The first thing to check is exactly how much damage we were losing, and when you do the math, it turns out to be exactly 10%. Now there's only one perk that causes a 10% change in damage on heavy weapons like rocket launchers, and that perk is called Vorpal Weapon. Now for those unfamiliar, Vorpal Weapon adds 10 to 20% damage against certain types of enemies depending on what type of weapon you're using. This rocket launcher I was testing had Vorpal Weapon on it, so that was clearly the problem. But what exactly was causing Vorpal Weapon to suddenly stop working? After taking off all my armor mods and trying a few things, I realized what it was: stowing the weapon. Now this isn't the first time in Destiny history where the weapon you're holding overrides the weapon you actually shot the enemy with when it comes to what perks are active. The most notable example is Witherhoard, grenade launcher that damages enemies over time. If you shoot enemies with Witherhoard and then swap to a different weapon that creates Warmind cells, the game thinks you killed those enemies with that second weapon, even though you never fired it. Now you know this is happening when Warmind cells pop out, despite you never using the weapon that creates them. Is the same thing true here? Could you gain Vorpal Weapon just by switching to a weapon that has it while a rocket is in the air or Witherhoard is on the ground? Unfortunately, no. This is a one-way door. You can only lose Vorpal Weapon by switching, never gain it, and you lose it even if you switch from a rocket launcher that has it to another weapon that has it. Doesn't matter what type of weapon or what slot it's in. If you swap, you lose the damage no matter what. Now this issue is most obvious on rocket launchers, but it's also true for grenade launchers and caster frame swords. I didn't have a caster frame sword with Vorpal, but a friend generously volunteered to help me test, and as you can see, the damage drops immediately from the first tick to the rest of the damage as soon as he swaps away from the Vorpal sword. Luckily, there is a bit of good news here. Explosive Light, which buffs the damage on the Ascendancy rocket launcher, is unaffected by this, so you can swap away without losing anything. The same is true for perks on exotic rocket launchers such as Gallarhorn and Eyes of Tomorrow. So what is the overall lesson here? Don't swap away from a Vorpal rocket launcher until that rocket lands if you want max damage. Now it's understandable to swap away quickly so you can do damage with something else, especially if you're using a rocket with auto-loading holster and you want it to reload as quickly as possible. Your best bet is to keep your rocket launcher out for max damage, or at least be aware of the consequences of putting it away too quickly. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you for taking time to watch. Like and subscribe if you're interested in seeing more.